Let's look into this. My name is Law Nation. This topic may rub some people the wrong way. This topic may be a situation where as you look at it and say, oh no, Law, let's not do that, right? I'm with the belief, let's not break down this thing. Let's figure out a way to establish continuity. Nevertheless, on the fan side, wonderful article, by the way. They post a lot of good information. Shout out to Miss Jackie for sending this over to me as we read over this, why the Cowboys should consider trading Ezekiel Elliott. And they go into details. The Cowboys have a decision to make, tough decisions. They got a salary cap of the range of $20 million, give or take. And I'm just paraphrasing here. And then they go into details of Ezekiel Elliott. He having a down year last year, career lows in rushing of 979 yards, and it was a career low of 4 yards per carry. And we got to look at it from this perspective, not from the fan side perspective, but I see where they're going. They said, okay, it's a big cap hit of $13.7 million. That's a lot to be on the running back. And then they go into details knowing that you got to pay a quarterback anywhere in the range of $36 to $40 million, and the quarterback is Dak Prescott, by the way. Why trade Ezekiel Elliott if he's a top running back? And they go into details, are running backs important? And they're looking at it from a numeral aspect of it. But there are some things that goes unseen with Ezekiel Elliott. Let me just say that right quick, Cowboy Nation. There are some things that goes unseen. Well, Law, what are you saying? What are the unseen things? Well, first and foremost, he's a hell of a blocker. I don't know about you all, but keeping your quarterback upright is the main thing because you got to have the quarterback to play in the game. Now, there was a certain year, I'm not going to name the year, but we got rid of DeMarco Murray, and then we put in another running back, and the blocking, the protection, the setup, the calling out of the blitzes was not there anymore, right? And we seen a certain quarterback go down and be out for the year. It goes a long way. My thing is, can you get any running back to run behind an offensive line that's dominant? Yes. Now, I'm not saying that the Cowboys' offensive line is dominant, but what I'm saying is that let's be mindful of this. You got to establish continuity. We got to take in under consideration that this running back had the COVID. I'm talking about Ezekiel Elliott last season, and it was a brand new running backs coach. Now, I'm not trying to paint a narrative or a picture or give you guys bevies of excuses, because I know a lot of people going to look at this thing and say, Law, come on, man, we can't pay everybody. Come on, Now, my thing is the stance on Ezekiel Elliott getting paid way too soon. That was a problem with me because I looked at it like, come on, it wasn't at the time ready for him to get paid because he already got his coins. But I feel what Rocky Arsenal, his agent, and his team were trying to do. They were trying to get ahead of this thing, and they saw the tea leaves. They saw how all of the running backs been treated when they approaching the latter parts of their first rookie's contract. So shout out to them. Their team is amazing, right? They got the stuff done, although his name was still sullied and denigrated. Remember, Zeke who? Now, when the Cowboys drafted Tony Pollard, believe it or not, like Ripley's, Ezekiel Elliott got more snaps than he ever had in his career. More and more opportunities to touch the ball, and it just didn't work out well for us because of the fact that you're trying to overuse the guy, right? You want to teeter it just a little bit, but that's a story of a different day. My thing is, Ezekiel Elliott brings so much attention to the field. At the end of the day, I quite believe that these teams, all the 31 other teams, when they face the Cowboys, they're looking at it like this. Stop the run, shut down the run, stop Ezekiel Elliott, make the team one-dimensional, make the team forces the team to pass the ball. We're going to give them a single high safety look, one-on-one to the outside. You guys heard me say this many a times. It took Dak Prescott a couple of years to get accustomed to that strange-looking defense. They took away those soft coverages. And I believe in the hearts of hearts, even Dak Prescott, he can kill you all day. He can kill you all day passing in those zone pockets, but his issue was trying to defeat that man-to-man defense, those tight windows throws. Although, and I got to preference my statement when I say this, he was like one of the top quarterbacks in throwing that ball in that window. But there's more and more chances and opportunities for negative things to happen, right? Whereas the previous teams, when they played against Tony Romo, they didn't give Tony Romo those looks because he was already a veteran guy. And they said, no. We cannot do this to Tony Romo, single high safety look, one-on-one to the outside, because Dez will continue to eat. That system, and I know a lot of people would not like to hear this, but that system, the way when they brought in Ezekiel Elliott, was not for Dak Prescott. It just worked wonderfully because teams were still trying to stop the Cowboys like they were trying to stop Tony Romo. And then the following year, everything got compressed and everything got, make it a little bit more difficult for the quarterback. And then from there, Dak Prescott improved. He learned how to beat the one-on-one coverages. He learned how to trust his receivers. Although they're not open, he still threw the ball that way, and we've seen that aspect of this game improve, especially when they went and got Amari Cooper. A lot of people like to rate Dak Prescott on the fact that he had Amari Cooper his whole entire career, but no, he only had Amari Cooper for a year and a half. But going back to Ezekiel Elliott, he's responsible for a majority of the coverages upon which the defense play. Now, when we let's look back at this thing right here, Ezekiel Elliott. Like I was talking about, this is Spoke Track, and they was going over the fact, okay, if you look at everything, this is his career. 2016, that was the young phenom Ezekiel Elliott, the path of the righteous man. Of course, he had 1,600 yards rushing, 322 attempts, 71 percentages of the snap. And on top of that, he was averaging 5.1 yards a carry, 15 rushing TDs. That is a real good number, right? 32 receptions. That's a good balance because you don't want him to catch too many balls in the backfield because it's not his game. And then 2017, everybody, mama, uncle, cousin knows what happened. Right? They're on the field, off the field. He only played in 10 games. I blame most of that stuff on Roger Goodell. The lady says she sees no fault in Ezekiel Elliott, and he have never been the same since then, from a whole bunch of other stuff that I would talk about on another episode. In 2018, of course, he bumped his numbers back up, 4.7 yards per carry, still got north of 1,300 yards in that season. We made it to the playoff, but I want people to understand that Ezekiel Elliott, he was the primary wide receiver, 77 yards reception. Yeah, there you go right here. 77 yards reception, 567 yards receiving yards. And on top of that, the brother had 6 touchdowns rushing, and I believe 3 touchdowns receiving. So that's 9 total touchdowns. That is a good number for Ezekiel Elliott. Now, the 6 fumbles, it was really a situation whereas, we wanted him to not do that. And, of course, in 2016, he had 5 fumbles, but I believe he only lost 2. It was a weird number that year. But that's a story of a different day. 2019, we're moving a little bit further. And, of course, this was the year that the Cowboys drafted a Tony Pollard. That was the season that he was looking at it like, hey, I'm trying to get my bag. I'm trying to get my coins. He went to Combo Land. Didn't start off the way he normally start off on. Normally running backs take about a week and a half, maybe 2-3 weeks to get there with running back legs. Running backs typically tend to start off a little slower. But this year, in 2019, he started off extremely slow because he was not with the team, not working out with the team. He was doing his, hey, I'm going to do my thing in Combo Land, listening to a Marshall Faulk. Remember that, Cowboy Nation? In Rocky Arsenal, they weathered the storm, and they was able to get that bag at the end of the training camp or what have you. And I think people were saying, hey, you still going to put Ezekiel Elliott out there during preseason and things like that. But he had a cold start, basically. So fast forwarding to now in 2020 and then heading into 2021, of course, one can look at it, and then you can see right here, snaps, 942 snaps. Like, come on, Jason Garrett. You got Tony Pollard. Why give this man more and more snaps, right? I digress. But we was pressing this entire year. We didn't make it to the playoff, finished 8-8, and everybody knows the story. Now, here's Ezekiel Elliott, played 14 games, 787 snaps, had issues with the pandemic, had issues with his hamstrings, playing injured, tried to do his deal, and he ended up with 979 yards. If anybody want to do a comparison, think about this. Explosive Ezekiel Elliott put up those type of numbers with only 10 games back in 2017. You do the math. You let me know if there was a drop-off. But I will say, new running back coach, new head coach, whole different world in 2020. Different world, different climate. I mean, you're missing your starting quarterback, for crying out loud. He had 52 receptions, 338 yards. My thing is, for everybody that's out here that's really looking at to this thing of saying, okay, Law, we need to get rid of Ezekiel Elliott. We need to see how they can do with another running back. My thing is, you got the continuity already there. You got all of the rapport. Let's try to build something together. Let's not go into this thing saying, okay, this will be the Tony Pollard administration, and not knowing how Tony Pollard will, I guess, survive through a 16, 17-week schedule, right? I think we got an extra game this year. So I'm with the belief, keep Ezekiel Elliott. The time to move on from Ezekiel Elliott is clearly not now. Let's go back into this thing. Of course, 6-year deal, $90 million, $7.5 million signing bonus with $50 million guaranteed. His contract will not expire as far as you getting away from it, not until 2023. Because even in 2022, it will still be a $10 million hit. That's a big hit. So you got to wait. And I recall when I was doing the salary cap look into it, of course, 2025 and 26, he's still there on the chart. He's the last, like far as all of the contracts with the Dallas Cowboys, he got the longest contract with the team. His team is looking at this thing, whereas I follow the money. And if Jerry Wayne Jones says that Ezekiel Elliott is the straw that stirs the drink, I know his son said it, Stephen Jones, but if we know that he said that, then I believe in the hearts of hearts Ezekiel Elliott will still be here at minimum until 2023. 2024 season, maybe, just maybe, they will eat that $2.6 million, but I'm quite sure that they'll come back to Ezekiel Elliott and they'll say, hey, you don't mind if we extend this contract? Because he already made his coins, right? Let's be real with it. If he can't live his natural life, he made $48 million collectively speaking with the NFL. These numbers could be off by $1 million or so. But he made at least $48 million, give or take, in his career. I believe that he got his coins, he got his bag. He's been in the league for 5 years. He's still young, 25 years of age. So my thing is, Cowboy Nation, let's not wreck this thing of looking at other teams and seeing what they're doing. Pay attention to the game. Understand that Ezekiel Elliott, he brings much more than just rushing titles. He brings much more than that. He's a blocker. He demands, he dictates what the team is going to line up on, load in the box. All of that manipulation, you built up Dak Prescott to this point to beat that. The worst thing that you can ever do is bring in a younger quarterback, right? Hear me out. Bring in a younger quarterback who's not available or who's not eligible to beat that type of coverage, beat that man-on-man defense, and to get that pressure out of his face. And we're seeing this cycle. Then you're trying to rebuild. That is not what you want to do. What you want to do is try to establish that continuity, figure out this offensive line, because with the healthy offensive line, at minimum, you can say to yourself, all right, cool, I get Ezekiel Elliott with at least 13 to maybe 1,400 yards with a healthy offensive line. And if in a pinch, if I need him to catch the ball, looking at the historic data, he can at least give me 55 to 60 receptions. Off top. That's what you're going to get from a production aspect from Ezekiel Elliott. Now, if you want to go into the situation of starting all over, ripping the Band-Aid off the wound and say, okay, let's just bring in another running back, I don't know. And think about this, Cowboy Nation. The way Cowboys fans feel is different from the players. And I'm not saying that you want to do this thing for the players, but they see this thing. So I have to, with this notion to, I guess, dispute or have a rebuttal against the fan side, why the Cowboys should consider trading Ezekiel Elliott. I will say, nah, not right now. But if you got a compelling argument of the reason why the Cowboys should trade Ezekiel Elliott, and you want to go into more details, post that down below. Please post it in the description box. And let me know how you feel, and let me know who you got in the draft that you would like to bring in. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys.